is here bringing you our weekly podcast series, Wisconsin Explorers. This week, we will be talking about mound culture. Mounds are all around us. We don't realize they are there a lot of the time because they look like simple hills. These mounds were primarily built in the late woodland period. That's over 1,000 years ago. Ancient Native Americans built these mounds to look like animals, such as bear, deer, birds, or even people. Which animal do you think these pictures look like? People today often think that the reason these mounds were in the shape of animals is because the different animals represented the clans of Native Americans. Other than these animals, some archaeologists and Native Americans think these mounds symbolize sky, earth, and water. However, some of these mounds simply look like long lines of earth. So, next time you're at a park, see if you can spot one. Did you know your state has the most mounds in the nation? The Native Americans built between 15,000 and 20,000 mounds. That's pretty impressive. Today, there are also 4,000 mounds that still last. How neat is that? If you were a mound builder, how long do you think it would take you to build one of these magnificent mounds by yourself? The Native Americans were able to make so many mounds because they worked together so well. If you had 15 other people to help you, how much less time would it take you to build one, do you think? Probably a lot. Because of the Native Americans' strong community, they were able to become a thriving, permanent settlement. This was a big deal for the Native Americans because for years they had been moving around and now they were just staying in one place. Therefore, the population was getting bigger and their culture was growing. The first white settlers, or non-Native Americans, in the 1800s were confused and did not want to believe that Native Americans built these cool mounds. It was hard for the first settlers to believe Native Americans built the mounds because the pottery and plant life they found was far better than anything they had. In other words, they did not want to believe the Native Americans built such amazing pottery and that working together could produce such great products. Today, people think it is very important to give Native Americans credit for their works of art. A lot of the mounds the Native Americans built were markers of important sites. This was helpful because if they ever forgot where they left something, they could look for these massive mounds. If you were going to build a mound like the Native Americans did, what would you make yours look like? This concludes our podcast on mound culture. Stay tuned for our next podcast, which is on creepy Wisconsin caves.